Hello and welcome back. Let's see how we can find the second most occurring character in a string. Given this string, we can see E happens 6 times, D happens 2 times, C happens 2 times, and B happens 3 times, A happens 2 times. We can see that B is the second most occurring character in this string. Okay, how we can do that? We can count the occurrence of each character in this string, and based on that we can decide to either find the first most occurring, the second or third or fourth, whatever. Okay, so what we can do, we can use a map data structure to count the frequency of each character in this string, or count the number of occurrence of that. So if I define a map data structure where I want to map character to its count, okay, if I take a look here, if I have A is happening 2 times. If I have B happens 3 times. C happens 2 times, and D happens 2 times. Also E happens 6 times. Okay. Once I got this map, I can sort this map, the values of this map. Okay. Then I can get the second most occurrence or third most occurrence. If I sort the values, I'll get 6. Maybe in descending order, I'll get 6, 3, 2, 2, 2. I can get the second most occurring characters and just return that. Okay. So let's do that very quickly. I just want to count the occurrence of each character in the string. I can define a map data structure. I'll say map. I want to map each character to its number of occurrence to integer. I'll say frequency, give it a name, equal to new hash map. Okay. Then I want to loop through each character of this string and get its frequency. I'll say for character C, and inside the string I want to change it to character array so that I can loop through the elements of that character array. And I'll say if the frequency or the map dot contains key, if the character is already in my key set, I want to do something else. If it is not there, I want to just add it to the dictionary or to the map and put its frequency as 1. So if it is not already in my map data structure, I'll say frequency dot put the character and just put the value or the occurrence as 1. But if it's already there, get its value and just add 1 to that. Okay, I'll update the value or the number of occurrence of that character. I'll say frequency dot put the character, and I will get the old value. I'll say frequency dot get the value of the character and also add 1 to that. I just want to update the value. Okay, if I just want to print here, I'll say frequency the map. I can use a for each. It accepts a by consumer. By consumer is an interface, a functional interface which has a method. Okay, we can either implement that or directly pass a lambda function. So I want to just pass a lambda function that takes 2 arguments, key value, and it just want to consume that. It doesn't return anything. I just want to print it. Okay, I'll say key, which is a character, and I just want to concatenate that with a string, maybe just the value, which is the number of occurrence of each character. Okay, let me quickly run that. We can say A happens 2 times, B 3 times, C. Now we are going to sort this map based on the keys. Okay, what I can do is a simple way would be I can maybe I can change this the entry set of the map to a list. Then if I get a list of entry set, we can just simply sort that. Okay, so we know that every entry, every key value pair in a map data structure is stored in an entry. Okay, entry is a type. If I take a look here, it's a type or a field inside the map.java, and each key value pair is stored as an entry. Okay, So each value we have in map, each data, a piece of data is stored as an entry, a piece of key value pair. Okay, so we can create a list out of this maybe, and once we got a list data structure, we can easily sort that. So what I can do, I'll say I want to create a new array list, and I just want to pass something here. If I take a look here at the frequency map dot, I can get the values here, a collection of only values, or a collection of key sets, only the keys, or I can get a entry set, which is going to give me a collection of entry. Okay, key value pair. My key is character and value is integer, so I just can get the set and just want to make a list out of that. I'll say frequency dot entry set. Okay, now I have an array list. I want to catch it to a variable. I'll say list. Let me strictly, I'll say array list or list. What is the type of the value we want to store in our list? The type of the value is map entry. Okay, I'll say map, it's a type dot entry. We know entry is an interface inside the map class. I can call it using the map class name, and we know our type is generic type is character, is the key, and the value is integer. Okay, and I just want to give it a name, maybe list, and equal to new array list, something like this. Okay, once I got a list, I can either sort it based using the stream API, or I can call list dot sort method. It's going to accept a comparator. Okay, I can either implement my comparator and the logic here, or I can use a lambda function. We know it takes 2 arguments. I'm gonna call it entry 1 comma entry 2, and I just wanna say entry 1 dot get value. We want to sort them based on the value. I'll say entry 1 minus entry 2 dot get value, something like this. Okay, it's going to return an integer, takes 2 integer, and also returns 1 integer result. If it is 0, means that e1 dot get value and e2 dot get value are the same. Okay, and if it returns a positive number, means that e1 is greater than e2. E1 comes after e2 in our final list. Okay, and if it returns a negative number, it's going to indicate that e2 is greater than e1. Okay, and e2 comes before e1, something like that. Okay, now once I sort that, I can just say just want to print my list. Just want to print my list. I want to comment out this line of code for the moment. Okay, let's see what we get here. Now we have sorted our list 2 2 based on their values, 3 6, but we want the second most occurring character. We need to sort them in descending order. By default it is sorted by ascending order. To do that, do I have a reverse here? No, I don't have a reverse method here. We have it with the comparing dot comparator dot comparing, but I can do something like this. I can just want to reverse the order. I'll say e2 dot get value minus e1 dot get value. It's going to sort them in descending order. So okay, now I got the list. I can just simply I can just simply say s out the second most occurring character is some, I'll say plus list dot get of second element, which is located at index 1. Okay, it's occurring. Let's see. I believe it is returning an entry b equal to 3, but we don't want an entry. We just want the character. I'll say list dot get 1 dot get key. Okay, key is the character. now we can see the most occurring character is B. But what happens if I don't have the most occurring character? If I have maybe, let's say, I'll say str equal to, if I have something like this, there is no second most occurring character. In that case, I'll get an exception, index out of bounding exception, because we don't have the second element, or the size of the array is 1. So before that, I can do something like this. I will say if list dot size is less than 2. If we don't have the second most occurring character, I will say print something to the user, or through an exception, I'll say there is no second most occurring character. Else, just print that. Okay, let's see. Control X and Control B. Okay, I just wanna print that. Okay, there's no second character, second most occurring character. Okay, but if I do it something like this, we can get second most character is B. If I just put something here, y maybe 4 times, so now it should return y. Yeah, y is the second most occurring character. This is one way that we can achieve that. Here we're using two data structures, list and also map data structure. We can sort our map data structure based on their values. Okay, so what I can do, I'm gonna just delete these lines of code, and this time I'm going to either use this approach to get the frequency of the characters inside the string, or I can use Stream API. Let's this time use the Stream API so that we can learn how we can get the frequency of occurrence of each character in a string using a Stream API. So I'll say a string. Let's change that to a stream. I'll say dot curse. It's going to give me an int stream, okay, where it is giving me a stream of the ASCII values of the characters inside the string. So now I got the stream, but I don't want the stream of the ASCII values. I want the stream of characters. So I can change that or map it to a character. I'll say dot map to object, get each character, and just this character is an ASCII value, and I just wanna cast it back to a character. I'll say char. Now I'm getting a stream of the character, and I just want to collect that. I'll say collect using collector or collectors dot grouping by. I can group each character and count its occurrence. Okay, I'll say it accepts a classifier. My classifier is going to be, I'll say take each character and just put it as a character back. Don't do anything with that. And I want to put a downstream. Okay, in my downstream, I'll say count the occurrence of each character in that stream. Okay, I'll say collectors dot counting. Okay, mapping, not mapping. I just want to count that. It is going to return me a map. Let's say I just want to catch it to a variable. I'm gonna call it frequency. Okay, now we got a map of character and its occurrence as long. Okay, if I print that frequency, let's see what we get. We're getting A happens 2 times, B happens something like that. Okay, now we are going to sort this map. We don't want to change it to a list, and we want to sort that using a Stream API, and want to sort them based on their keys. Okay, how we can do that? We know that we cannot directly apply a stream on map data structure, but we can apply a stream on its either on its values. It's going to give me a collection of longs, or maybe we can apply a stream on its key sets. It's going to give me a collection, a set of characters. Or if I want to do something with the entry, both the key and values, so I can do something like this. I will say get the entry set. It's going to give me a set or a collection of entries. Then I can apply a stream API on this set. Okay, I'll say get the entry set dot stream. Apply a stream on that. Once I got the stream of entries, what I can do is I can sort them. I can apply some terminal operators or some intermediate operators. So I just want to sort them based on their values. Okay, I'll say dot sorted. It's accepting a comparator. I'm just want to provide an implementation here using lambda function. I'll say get entry 1 and also entry 2, and just wanna say entry 1 dot get value minus entry 2 dot get value. Okay, we get an error here. Let's see. But return type lambda expression long cannot be converted to int. So by default, it is accepting integer values. Okay, if we want to compare the long values, we know this one returns the values as long. We can do something like this. I will say long, the wrapper class long dot compare. Okay, it takes too long. I'll say e1 dot get value comma e2 dot get value. Okay, okay, I got that, but let's see. Just I want to just print them. Okay, let's see what we get. Either I can store them in a map data structure or collect them as a list, but for now I just want to print them. Let's see what we get here. Okay, I get that sorted in ascending order, but I want to sort it in descending order. Okay, I don't have a reverse here. I can do something like this. I just want to change the order of that. I'll say e2 dot get value and compare that with e1 dot get value. Okay, now I got them sorted based on their value in descending order. Okay, I'm interested in the second value. Okay, now I have the stream. What I can do, I'll just escape the first value. I'll say escape the first value and just start from the second. Okay, if I run that, it's starting from y. Okay, I'm interested only in the first value. I skip one and just want to get the first one. I just don't want to loop through or get a stream of other elements. I can do something like this. Dot escape dot maybe find first. Okay, and we cannot apply for each here. Find the first element, or if there is no first element, it's going to return an optional. I'll say dot or else. If there is no second character, just return null. Not new, just return null. Okay, let's see. I just want to catch it to a variable. Let's see what we get here. Okay, so we are getting an entry here, map.entry of character and long. Okay, but we just want the character. Okay, now what I can do is I can delete this one. I can say maybe before finding the first, I can say dot map, get an entry and just map it to entry dot get value dot get key. Okay, something like this. If I say now, it's going to return a character. Okay, it's return a character. I just want to kind of call it second most occurring or whatever, and let's just print that. See, let's see what we get here. Now we got y. Okay, the second most occurring characters. So it is a most neat version of solving this problem using the stream API. Okay, or if you don't want to use the stream API, or else if it is too complicated for you, so what we can do is we can use some variables to keep track of the most occurring character and also second most occurring character. We can define two variables to keep track of their counts. Okay, what I can do is I can either find the frequency of the letters using the stream API. But if you don't know stream API, if it is confusing for you, let's do it in traditional way. I'll say map of character integer, let's call it frequency equal to new hash map, something like this. I just want to get the frequency. I'll say for character C inside str. Well, I can do something like this. Okay, let's do something like this. I'll say for I equal to 0, I less than str dot length. I can loop through the characters of the array using for loop also for I. I'll say frequency dot put str dot caret of I, and also I just wanna see if the character is already in the frequency, get its value and update that. Otherwise just put a default value of 0 and add 1 to that. Okay, I'll say frequency dot get or default get the str dot caret index I, and the default value is 0. If it is not there, just add a 0 and add 1 to that. If the character is already there, get its value and also add 1 to that. Okay, so once I got the frequency of occurrence of each character inside the string, if I print that frequency very quick, let's see. Okay, we got the frequency. Now we don't have to do the sorting and storing them in a list or something like that. What I can do here, I just want to keep track of the most character and its occurrence, and also the second most character. So what I can do, I can define two variables. I'll say character most char. I can define it maybe to null or maybe to 0, and also define another character variable second char, okay, equal to 0. This is going to keep track of the most occurring character, and it's going to keep track of the second most occurring character. Okay, I can also define two integer values to keep track of their counts or how many times they happen. I'll say most count equal to 0, also second count or second most count, whatever you want to call it, equal to 0. Okay, now I can loop through the elements of the map data structure. Okay, we know how to loop through the elements of the map data structure. I'll say for we want to loop through the entry sets. Okay, all the elements are stored as an entry. I'll say if I take a look here, frequency dot entry set, I can either loop through the entry set, okay, or loop through the values or keys, but I want to loop through the entry set. Okay, it's going to give me a set of entries which are of type character and integer. Okay, if I say for let's define a variable. I'll say map dot entry, the key is character and the value is integer. I just want to call it entry inside frequency dot entry set. Okay, this is the way we can loop through the elements of map data structure. Once I got each entry, I can say something like this. I can extract its value, which is a character, and its value, which is an integer, and its key, which is a character. I'll say int ch, or the current character. I'll say entry dot get key. Okay, and I'll say int current count, or maybe I just want to call it count equal to entry dot get value. Okay, I'll check if the count of this current character, if the count is greater than the most count. What I can do is, first I want to update the second most character. I want to assign the value of the most character to the second most character, and also update the most character to this current character. I'll say first update the second most. I'll say second character equal to most character. Okay, and also second count equal to most count. Then update the first count. I'll say most character equal to the current character that we read. Also to most count equal to current count. So why we get an error here? Most character, why it says an integer, most char, okay. This should be a character, most char. Provided integer, okay, integer the get key. It should be a character, sorry about that. Okay, but what happens if we get a character here and where its count is less than the most count but its count is greater than the second count? Okay, in that case we want to update our second count also. Else if I will say else if the count is greater than second count, okay, but also it shouldn't be equal to the most count. Also, okay, count should not be equal to most count. Okay, in cases where the current count is less than the most count but it is greater than second count, okay, which in that case we want to update our second count. Okay, this is very important. Okay, if count is greater than second count, I'll say second character equal to character and also second count equal to count, something like this. Okay, now we can just print our second most occurring character. I'll say just want to print second character. Let's see if it works. Now we get y. Okay, y is the second most occurring character. If I delete y, it should print b this time. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video, and these are the 3 different ways that we can find the second most occurring character in a string. Okay, please don't forget to subscribe and see you in the next video. Bye bye.